Hello, this is Carbot, and I'm here with the final product from the 헬로카봇 The Secret of Omphalos movie, Tylaio. It was first released in January of 2019 and its retail price is about 125,000 Korean won. So taking a look at his name more closely, his Korean name has a unique word mark. In Korean, this is pronounced Tylaio, but I'll prefer to call it Tylaio in English since T comes from like Tyrannosaurus. In English, that's Tyrannosaurus. For English speakers, I think they'll be more inclined to say Tylaio. And he also has the title Carbot of Combination. Okay, a quick English grammar lesson. There's a difference between using a noun of noun phrase and a attributive noun, a noun used as an adjective with a noun. So I believe a noun of noun phrase sounds best when used to describe a formal, proper noun. A noun of noun phrase just sounds awkward when using it to describe common nouns. There is a term for robots of combination, combiners, or to be more fancy, gestalts. For example, the Transformer Autobot Superion is an Autobot combiner, not a Autobot of combination, because that kind of has the nuance of him being the Autobot of combination, which is not true because there are lots and lots of Autobot combiners. Likewise, Menasor is a Decepticon combiner, not a Decepticon of combination. Now, there's an enigma of combination, a legendary artifact that can turn Transformers into combiners. Okay, title nitpicking aside, let's look at some of the other things advertised on the box. This reads, a Tyrannosaurus, lion, and truck combine. The left shows the three characters that make up this combiner. There are two original characters that are only in this set. The Carbot from the past, Tyratus, the Carbot from the present, Core, and the Carbot from the future, Client. Now, you might be thinking that Client should be from the present and Core should be from the future, but the movie explicitly states that Client and the animal Carbots are from the future. Kind of like the Maximals and Predacons. And on the bottom right corner of the box, it advertises a face change system where you can turn his central chest panel to switch the faces between the robot face, dino face, and beast face. And this reads, past Tyratus, future Client, and present Core, space and time combine into Tylaio. And the back of the box is a portrait view of the illustrations of the components. It pretty much advertises the same features as the front of the box. And the contents. Here's the underside of the box with Tylaio with his dino face. And it looks like his date shows December of 2018. I guess this was produced before the other animal Carbots. And the sides are identical, showing Tylaio with his beast face. And this is how Tylaio and his accessories are packed. So here are the three components of Tylaio. Let's first look at Client and compare it with his individual toy. As you can see, his body looks much more appropriately proportioned with some actual ribcage definition. Although his body looks quite fatter on this one. His calves are also the right size, unlike this one with this short body and rather big calves. And they can also do this, while this one can't. Although there isn't any front paw articulation. And the tail here is all completely plain yellow, while this one has a hard plastic brown tip. And finally for the face, this face looks better because it's not quite as smooshed as this one. And its mouth can actually hold its mouth closed. Although this one really does not have any teeth at all. And finally, while this one has red eyes, this client's eyes are pitch black. So it might be dead. And here's an original character, Tyratus. So he's a big, chubby red T-Rex. Some basic articulation with soft rubber arms and opening mouth. And some leg articulation. And that's about it. And if you look at his animation model, this toy is very inaccurate due to it having pitch black eyes and just being all one shade of color red. And comparing it with Tyracles, which is not Tyratus, he just literally pales in comparison compared to this color scheme. And here's Fall of Cybertron Grimlock to compare. And finally, the literal core of the Combiner. Core. So he's some sort of open bed, flatbed truck. Technically a tracked truck because his back wheels are treads with some big obvious hinges. And he has 3 windows with 3 molded windshield wipers. And a symbol there. And some little smokestacks that would actually kind of blow into the trailer and therefore into the contents or whatever animals on here. Kind of not good for the health. And finally, the design from the side view, you can see all the exposed robot bits that you can tell from looking at from the side that it's a robot. I wish there would have been some more panels to cover up this thing, like such as these from the trailer bed flipping down, but it's pretty exposed. So core by default has 4 accessories. These 2 guns on the side here, and these 2 boxes, which are kind of add-on accessories for Client and Tyratus. So for this blue thing, it's kind of like a flight jet, or flight jetpack. So to transform this, you pull these back, flip out these wings and the wingtips, and finally this piece. It's a blocky but pretty nice looking jet thing, with actually a cockpit and seat. Kind of reminds me of Diaclone, although too bad this thing can't open. So there, you can attach this to the top of Client's mane. So now you have Client the Flying Lion. It would have been great to see this thing, but if this thing was backwards compatible with the other Client figure. I kind of wish this would attach like a jetpack, but I guess the kibble would get in the way. As for the green box, these are laser cannons. So simply you fold these up and then flip out these 4 cannons. And for some reason, the ones at the top are quite very loose. And they can easily pop out. And then you just put that on Tyratus's back. A flying lion might be a little silly, but this looks kind of awesome. Although it doesn't really look like a transformer in any way. And if you think these are a little too tall, you can kind of fold these here to have a shorter look. And these accessories are cross-compatible, so if you want, you can have a battle lion and a flying T-Rex. And finally, both Client and Tyratus have these holes on their feet, which can attach to these red pegs on the truck head. But you can plug in both feet at the same time, so you can carry either client or tier 2 surround, although not both. Not sure how kids are going to be able to do this so easily. Very fiddly. Of course, that means that these two things have nowhere to go except on the backs of these guys. And there's not enough clearance in this mode for them to attach to the side. I've noticed the Carbot Combiners are mostly at a consistent scale of their own, about 1/24 scale. So therefore, this masterpiece Bumblebee, which is also about 1/24 scale, I think it scales accurately enough with Core. Now to transform Core into his robot mode. So first you detach the truck bed. And then you flip out this and plug him in here. Then fold that up. Yes, I think his transformation scheme is very similar to Mighty Guard and K-Cops. Then split out the legs. Fold these down. And then fold these in and then spread out the wings. And then attach them on the back here. And if you notice, there are these spring-loaded pegs so that these wings will be constantly pushed in an angle back like this. So Core is now a fully functional robot without arms. Now let's tack on organic animals onto a completely mechanical robot. Yes, it's kind of hard to separate the back half from this, but you just basically flay this out and then fillet a lion to form a big orange animal shield. Then you simply fold out the arm. Super simple. And then just slide it in like that. Then do the same for tier 2s, except you pull out his tail. And you also fillet a dinosaur to form another big shield. Then fold this out. And then slot that in here. Then you attach these two accessories on his legs, like big blocks of kibble. And then attach the shields onto the arms like big pieces of kibble. And finally, you can take the guns from his back and equip them in either hand. Or you can combine them with Tyratus's tail to form a staff. And there we have Tylaio. So in all honesty, Tylaio really doesn't look like a combiner and more like a single big robot with animal bits stuck on his arms. Client and Tyratus are pretty much shell formers with their animal bits sticking off on the shoulder and arms, with only their insides forming the most of the arms. As you can see, these white and blue arms look like they would be naturally part of Core. Although on each arm they do have a unique symbol, like a lion paw for Client and a dino claw for Tyratus. And of course a big Carbot symbol on his crotch. As for articulation, he has full 360 arm ratchet swivels, although these wings get in the way and these can't really fold out. No bicep swivels as usual. He has inward bend that can go that far, so he can use his lion stake as a shield. Same with this arm. No head articulation because there are bits of blue plastic on the side of his helmet. Unless you count his face changing hinge. As for the legs, pretty standard. Forward ratchet, backward ratchet. Okay, there. Yeah, you have to split this out a bit. A spread out of the leg, and a thigh swivel. And a somewhat awkward bend for the transformation. Oh, and the wings can fold up that much and fold in that much. So besides the combining, his other main gimmick is this face change system. So there are 3 molded symbols here. A fist for the humanoid mode. A lion paw for the beast mode. And the dino claw for the dino face. All indicated with a very obvious arrow. His default humanoid face is pretty good, with basically blue with some white inside and orange eyes. And his beast face, it kind of looks like he has the whiskers on his nose. Enough said. And his dino face. Kind of looks like he has a jaw with a silver mustache. Take what you will. So story-wise, I really don't think there is any shifting personality depending on which phase. I think, like all the other Carbots, they pretty much have their own individual will even when combined, so these faces really don't change the personality. Unlike, say, animated Blitzwing. So in story, this triple face change thing is really just for charging up time energy to unleash some sort of final attack laser thingy. And as I mentioned earlier, these animal calf shields are kind of too big and ridiculous, while these 2 accessories just hang uselessly on his legs. But you can switch out the box accessories and the kibble shields so he can have a more decent look while he has useless animal kibble sticking off of his legs. And here's Tylaio compared with some other combiners. Mighty Guard, Victorion, and Devastator. And I mentioned that Guard and Core are similar in that they're both trucks that transform into mostly the head, torso, and the legs of their combiners. Now, I kind of get what they were going for, having 3 very unlikely robots combining into a combiner with time power. But the character design and the backstory explained in the movie are both quite weak and a bit lazy in my opinion. There are other triple beast combiners like Magnaballs and Magmatron that work much more organically. Pun intended. Granted, Magnaballs and Magmatron are much more complex and fiddly, while Tylaio is very easy to assemble. I think the design would have been better and thus less kibbly if both Client and Tiratus transformed into both the arms and legs. Or if Core transformed into a mechanical beast, or maybe a triple changer. I can't really recommend anyone outside of Korea getting this unless you really want a absurd triple-faced combiner. Even domestically, I'm having buyer's remorse getting this thing at full price when there are better looking hellokarbot combiners out there. Thanks for watching my review. Please consider leaving a like, commenting, and clicking the subscribe button. And I'll see you next time.